Welcome to my channel. Today we bring you another story from our collection of raw dog stories. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an upload. This is the collar on the grave. A man from Ireland named Gary, who's from Dublin, was absolutely devastated after he lost his wife Bernie to an illness. They were married for 32 years and had 2 kids together. Gary was heartbroken and didn't know what to do with himself without her. He missed her terribly and felt so lost. But there was one thing that kept him going: their dog, Buster. Buster was more than just a pet to them. He was a member of their family. And Gary knew that Bernie would have wanted him to take care of the little guy. Every day, Gary would take Buster for a walk in the park near their home. It was their favorite thing to do when they were still together. Gary would sit on a bench and throw the ball while Bernie walked nearby, watching them both. Those were happy times, but now it was just Gary and Buster. One day, Gary was walking Buster as usual, but he couldn't stop thinking about Bernie. He hadn't visited her grave since she was buried. So while Buster sniffed around, Gary made his way over to the headstone. He sat down heavily on the edge and stared at the cold marble in front of him. "I miss you, Bernie," he whispered. Buster winked and nudged Gary's hand with his wet nose. The dog had stopped sniffing around and was now looking at Gary with concern in his eyes. Then something incredible happened. Buster barked once, then ran off toward the nearby trees. Gary watched him go, confused. He didn't understand why their dog suddenly started barking. But then Buster came back with something in his mouth. Gary's eyes widened when he saw what the dog had brought back. It was Bernie's collar. Always wore it everywhere, even when they went to the park. Gary took the collar from Buster's mouth and put it around the dog's neck. As he fastened the last clasp, he felt a lump forming in his throat. He knew what he had to do. He stood up and walked over to the grave, placing the collar on the ground in front of it. Gary looked at Buster and saw understanding in the dog's eyes. This was exactly what Bernie would have wanted. From that day on, Gary made sure to visit Bernie every day. Sometimes he would just sit by the grave and talk to her, telling her all about the little things that happened during his day. Other times, he would bring her flowers or a new wind chime to hang on the tree nearby. But no matter what he brought, he also brought Buster, who would patiently sit by the grave until Gary was done. People passing by would sometimes stare at the old man and his dog, wondering why they spent so much time at the cemetery. But Gary didn't care. He knew he wasn't alone. Bernie was with him, along with the dog who loved them both dearly. One day, Gary didn't show up to visit Bernie. The old man had taken ill and was rushed to the hospital. When Buster sensed something was wrong, he refused to eat and spent all his time by the window, whining and staring out into the street. Mrs. O'Leary, Gary's neighbor, noticed how strange the dog was acting. She knew something was wrong, so she decided to pay Gary a visit. She found the old man lying in his bed, weak and pale. Clearly, he wasn't feeling well. Mrs. O'Leary called the vet, who quickly came to take care of Gary. The man was suffering from a heart condition that his wife Bernie had also died from. Mrs. O'Leary stayed with Gary until the vet arrived, stroking his hand and telling him everything was going to be all right. But deep down, she knew that Gary might not make it. When the vet examined Gary, he told them that the best thing he could do was send him to the hospital right away. There was no way he would pull through this at home. Mrs. O'Leary called Gary's children and told them to come over as fast as they could. The whole family stayed by Gary's side at the hospital, but it was clear that he wouldn't make it. Just before his passing, his son Sean noticed something. Gary was wearing the same collar that belonged to their dog Buster. It was a special collar that Bernie had picked out for him on their last trip to the pet store together. Now it was the only thing separating Gary from his beloved wife. At around 1 a.m., Gary passed away peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by his loving family. His children were grateful that he had received such wonderful care from Mrs. O'Leary, who had been like a second mother to him. After Gary was buried next to Bernie, his children returned the collar to Mrs. O'Leary. They told her that she should give it to Buster. But she knew that wouldn't be possible. The dog had already passed away of a broken heart, waiting for his owner by the window. That is the power of love between humans and animals. Let this be a lesson to us all to cherish our pets while we can, because they bring so much joy and happiness into our lives. Do you have a similar story? Feel free to share it in the comments below. We appreciate hearing about your experiences. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching.